Welcome to episode 2 of the Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent, the largest pure-play solar distributor in the Americas. Go to soligent.net today and become a dealer. Join us in our mission of creating a world that is beyond emissions. And as we start every single episode, I want you to be thinking, by the way, thank you so much for listening to us, audience, and making us number one. Go to our Soligent YouTube channel. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, hit the reminder bell in the corner so you can be a part of this ongoing conversation about creating a world that is beyond emissions. Okay, so what I want you to be thinking about as we get to our phenomenal guest today, Solar Engine Program Manager Josh Tinaglia is on the show today to talk about financing options available from Soligent. Also as well, David Parker from Sol-Ark Inverters, Alex Lepore from Fortress Power Batteries. We have got an amazing broadcast for you today here at the Beyond Emissions podcast. And what I want you thinking about as we start every single episode, okay, the name of the broadcast of the podcast is called Beyond Emissions. It's a future-thinking, forward-thinking program that isn't looking exactly at what's in front of us right now. Obviously, we're not living in this world beyond emissions yet, but we want to get there. That's our goal someday. And what does beyond emissions mean to you? It could mean, a healthy environment. It can mean unlimited energy. It could mean economic security and independence, empowering us. It could mean national security. I saw the other day President Xi talking with the King of Saudi Arabia about taking the yuan as their currency, which is going to put a big dent in our power around the world, economically speaking, with the world reserve currency status of the dollar. And we know that we're the only true free nation on earth. The West represents freedom, and some of the other countries out there don't necessarily believe in the same kind of freedom that we believe in, and we don't want them controlling us. And so economic freedom, that's all part of the Beyond Emissions umbrella, all under that same umbrella as the environment, energy independence, everything, mitigating climate change, everything under that umbrella. And we all have different drivers for us, right? Each of us are different. So what does beyond emissions mean to you? Getting off of a fossil fuel economy and having energy independence for our free nations around the world. I mean, what does it mean to you? I mean, it could even mean clean drinking water, and we'll talk about that today, our GivePower program through our solar engine segment. It's exciting. We have the ability to change the world. You're doing it with us right here at Soligent. We have a mission of creating a world that is beyond emissions. What does beyond emissions mean to you? And the purpose of this program, having discussions with experts from around the world on the Beyond Emissions by Soligent podcast to discuss how are we going to get there. And how we're going to get there is empowering you to empower your customers with renewable energy projects, whether it's solar, wind, whether it's inverters, energy storage, you name it, financing. We're going to talk about it all because it all matters in our mission of creating a world that is beyond emissions. Josh Tinaglia, welcome to the program, my brother from another mother here at Soligent, our solar engine program manager. Josh T, as we like to call you. Thanks so much for being on the Beyond Emissions podcast. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Well, thanks for having me, Josh B. It's good to be here, and I'm glad we could take some time today to talk about Beyond Emissions.
That's awesome. Don't you love how it's so all-encompassing? It's not necessarily just down. We all want the best environment. We want to protect our Earth, and as a matter of fact, creating an emissions-free future, I mean, that's what drives us here, even more than the profits. All of our meetings that we have with our senior leadership, that gets brought up on the regular right here, right? We really have a great culture at Soligent built around this mission of creating a world that is beyond emissions, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we love the fact that we can do something to improve the world around us. It's beyond our reach in ways that we might not even, see immediately. So yeah, it definitely gets a lot of us up in the morning. And I'm excited to do that with teammates like you, new teammates like you that are so energetic and willing to make those changes. And just see things beyond just the dollars and cents. We're impacting massive amounts of change out there. We talk about it weekly in our team-wide calls about what we're doing emissions-wise. So it's good for us to also kind of step back and think about what we're doing outside of just solar and how that impacts individuals beyond our reach.
Now, Beyond Emissions, by the way, thanks for listening to us, Beyond Emissions by Soligent podcast here at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like this video and subscribe. Josh Tinaglia, Solar Engine Program Manager, here with us today. So glad you're here. So, Josh, what does Beyond Emissions mean for you?
Well, it hits close to home. One of the programs that we work on here in the Solar Engine, and for those of you that aren't familiar, the Solar Engine within Soligent, it's our partnership arm. It's how we connect with third-party lenders and offer direct pay, which allows you as an installer to purchase equipment from us through loan disbursements. So essentially, we can keep your credit terms free, keep that cash flow humming, and let our lender partnerships pay you and I at the same time so we can keep your jobs moving forward. But what really is a huge motivator for us here is our GivePower program that Josh mentioned earlier. We do this through our GoodLeap partnership, actually. GoodLeap completely funds the overhead of GivePower, and what GivePower does is they go out into remote areas and install clean drinking water facilities, and all powered by solar, obviously, in remote areas. Let's say, it's inland, and you have nothing but bacteria-ridden water, or maybe you're on the coast and you have nothing but salt water to drink. These facilities clean up the water, make it drinking friendly, I guess, for those that are in the area. Waterborne illness is one of the biggest killers in the world. So they sought this mission to go out and fix that. And what we do is for every direct pay job, we donate $5 towards that foundation. And, we just like to see all these jobs getting installed these systems getting installed in various locations throughout the world. And it's doing good. In that for every $5 we donate, it gives clean drinking water for 5 people for a full year. So we can actually now start to see numbers-wise how many people we've impacted over the last year plus that we've been in this program. And it makes us feel good because for us, it's not just we're installing a clean generating system that produces energy, creates clean water. We're helping actual individuals that will never get a meet. It is very much so beyond emissions, right? So it's very powerful. We talk about it a lot in our weekly team meetings, and it's a statistic that we definitely keep close to our hearts. And that's not something that we can measure dollars and cents wise outside of our contributions. The ROI on it doesn't matter to us. We're here to make an impact for people that, again, we'll never get to see. So it's definitely it's heartwarming, I guess you could say, Josh.
Yes. Josh Tinaglia, Program Manager for Solar Engine, our financing in-house, available to you partners here at Soligent. Go to soligent.net today. You can see the link down below in the description of this podcast. Beyond Emissions podcast at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, hit the reminder bell. So you can see down there in the description a link. Click on that and become a partner here at Soligent. Become a dealer. Because when you go out, like Josh said, and you talk with your customers, you're not just empowering them with renewable energy materials for their system and doing the install and, the follow-up and all the great things you're doing, right? But in addition, if you're participating in our GivePower program, your customer is also participating in that program. It goes beyond just you and what you're helping accomplish around the world to give clean drinking water to. Imagine this, right? Tell your listeners, if you're an installer or dealer here with us at Soligent, or you're joining us as an installer or dealer at Soligent, talk to this, point with your customers. Let them know that by participating in this program, you're actually helping people around the world, kids who normally, women who have to go walk miles and miles to carry water, oftentimes dirty, kids who have to drink, like Josh said, bacteria-ridden water. And through this GivePower program, your customers are also partnering with us here at Soligent, with you and your business, in making a difference happen. Ask your customers, listeners, could you imagine going over to your faucet and turning it on and having dirty water that made you sick come out? That's what's happening elsewhere around the world. And we take it for granted, right, Josh? We do. We're so blessed to live in this country and to have clean drinking water at the ready for most of us here in this country. But around the world, that's not the case, right, Josh?
It's so true. I mean, it's something we definitely take for granted. And, I'm looking at my Nalgene of water. I have not only clean drinking water, but a way to clean this water. But there's just so many things that we overlook. And, it's incredible to think that not too terribly far away, people are living a much, much harder life, which makes me feel better that, we're able to impact these people's lives in a positive way. And, hopefully their community starts to thrive and survive in ways that we would never have imagined. In fact, I've heard anecdotally of these sorts of things happening with some of these GivePower installations, is then all of a sudden there's a community that just rises. There's an economy that grows, and their population thrives, and just people live better lives, all because of clean drinking water. So, listeners, next time you're pulling from your tap, drinking that water, think of how you can make an impact for someone else's life. Pay it forward a little bit, and this is how we like to do it.
Josh Tinaglia, Solar Engine Program Manager here at Soligent. I'm excited to have you on the program, and especially with our listeners. If you're an installer or dealer already, thank you so much for partnering with Soligent. If you're not, join the team, right? We've got a link down in the description. Click on that and become a dealer today and partner with Soligent in making a huge difference in creating a world that is beyond emissions. What does that world look like to you? And how are we going to get there? We're going to get there together. You focus a lot on financing, and I know that we at Soligent have so many amazing financing partners, right? Talk a little bit about that, Josh, for our installer and dealer customers that are listening and some homeowners out there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we work with quite a few partners, and you can find them all exactly as Josh mentioned. Go to soligent.net and follow the links for solar engine and financing. But really, financing is a huge part in how solar works. 60+% of solar projects today are financed. So if you're still getting cash customers, great. That's wonderful. Cash is king, but not everyone has the ability to shell out, $30,000+ for a solar system. So finance can really help bridge that gap for your customers. They can become customers. They can save money month to month. They can start generating clean energy and, have something beyond emissions, perhaps if you finance through a Good Leap program and use direct pay. Obviously, I want to talk about the elephant in the room briefly. The interest rates are going up, and we do have partners who also offer PPAs and leases. So in those cases where, maybe the interest rate is unappealing to a homeowner, or the higher interest rate, you do now have options for them to not necessarily own the system, but still save even more money than they would have with a loan through the PPA or lease means. So if you have more questions, obviously, please feel free to reach out to us. On our website, you can actually fill out a form on our solarenginesolutions.com website, part of Soligent's arm here on the solar engine side. And that will send directly to me, and we can get connected and talk a little bit more about the right kind of financing for you. Not everyone is going to want to use, the same big box lenders that everyone uses. Maybe your market's a little different. So let's talk, let's sit down, have a more realistic conversation about what your expectations are with finance. Because things are changing, obviously, and you got to stay nimble in an industry like this. We want to make sure that you're staying relevant and able to compete with your competitors in your market. And that goes for residential and commercial as well. And I obviously want to take a moment to say, too, we're growing out both platforms. We're going to be adding partners here soon, hopefully. and just be able to serve you all a little bit better, and make the change that we want to see in the world. So yeah, come join the team. We're a rowdy bunch, but we're fun to work with, and we want to, more importantly, work hard to win your business and get your business growing. And
the Inflation Reduction Act, it's got included in there some standalone storage, 30% federal tax credit, lots of extensions in there of helping people get into renewable energy and save the planet, save money in their pocket, all by doing so. It's environmental security and economic independence, economic security for the individual American as well. It's all there. Now, I don't know the answer to this, but you could probably answer it for our listeners. Beyond Emissions Podcast, Josh Tinaglia, Solar Engine Program Manager here at Soligent. Join the team. Click the Join Us, Become a Dealer at Soligent link down below in the description. When it comes to our customers who are utilizing financing solutions through Soligent, by the way, folks, go there today, soligent.net /solutions /financing. Check it out. You can just click on the financing link and it'll take you right there. Josh, if I want to finance the project through Solar Engine at Soligent, does that affect my ability to recoup that 30% tax credit at all? I don't think it does, right?
No, yeah, it's a great question. And when you finance a system, it's virtually, you're still paying cash for it, right? So you, as a homeowner, you get to keep the tax credit for yourself because you're buying it through different means. Obviously, it's not cash, it's finance. So you're using your credit to make the purchase. You are still eligible for that 30% tax credit. Obviously, discuss how that works with your CPA, or check out whatever tax software you use to see how that affects you. But ultimately, it is still yours. In fact, that's how these loans are typically structured, which is incredibly helpful. Because if you finance the entire system, let's say, for round number's sake, you have a $30,000 system, you want to finance the whole thing. Well, 100% of that is, it's going to be a higher payment. What they actually do for these loans is they finance 70% of it. So you finance less, it's going to be a lower payment, because they're under the assumption that once the tax credit comes up for that tax year, you're going to take that tax credit, assuming you get it as a refund, you're going to roll it back into the loan to keep the payment the same. Because those first 18 months, the lender's actually giving you that I'm using finger quotes here, that 70% of the loan balance payment. And why that's helpful is right off the bat, you're able to have a lower payment. And for you contractors, that's a much easier sell than you having to sell a larger payment, obviously. And, you gotta have the conversation with them that you're also not a tax professional, right? So there's asterisks in there and things you want to make sure they understand. And you're probably already doing a good job of letting them know how solar works. This is just another thing. But they are very well so eligible for the tax credit and any other local incentives. Your state might have their own tax credits. Your utilities might have rebates. They might have feed-in tariffs. They might have SREC. There's so many things that you can get from a solar system that, sometimes financing just makes more sense. It might make more sense to keep your cash and investments, let that increase over time as things start to rebound. But leave your cash, your hard-earned cash, in those investments, and maybe use finance to get that solar system on your roof and start saving money today. But yeah, of course you'd be absolutely eligible for the tax credit. Great question, Josh.
Beyond Emissions Podcast by Soligent, largest pure-play solar distributor in the Americas. Like this video, subscribe here at the Soligent YouTube channel, and hit that reminder bell in the corner so you can continue to be a part of the ongoing conversation of creating a world with us at Soligent that is beyond emissions. Solar Engine Program Manager Josh Tinaglia here with us today on the Beyond Emissions Podcast. So Josh, what are some of the questions that, because I know we have homeowners listening as well, but primarily we have a lot of our customers, installers, and dealers. And by the way, if you haven't joined us yet, click on the link below in the description. Join us, become a Soligent dealer, and help us change the world today. Josh, what are some questions that installers and dealers listening to our Beyond Emissions by Soligent podcast should be asking their customers and their potential customers as it pertains to financing solar?
Oh, that's such a great question. And here's why. Just like when you're designing a solar system, not all two routes are the same. Not two users of that energy are the same either. A lot of folks just use energy differently. Finances are no different. In fact, they might be even widely different. Because let's say you have a homeowner who's wanting to finance. Well, why are they wanting to finance? You have kind of two ends of the spectrum. You have the one who wants to beat the utility payment. They want a lower monthly outgo than what they're currently paying. That $200 utility bill, well, they'd rather swap it out for a $150 solar bill. Then on the other end, you might have folks that want to finance just to kind of have like a bridge between maybe getting a bonus later on down the road, or any other sort of, lump sum of cash they might be receiving in the future to pay something off. So if they do that, they might need a shorter term loan, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years, who knows? And what's good about that is typically the shorter the term, the lower the interest rate. So you can help save that person interest, which is going to be huge for them because they're going to pay it off sooner. The person I mentioned previously, well, they're just looking for the lowest monthly payment. It might come with a higher interest rate, but it's a longer term. So you have a much better chance of having a lower payment on the solar system than you would with utility. So contractors, if there's anything you learned from what I'm trying to say right now, is dig a little deeper. Ask your customers maybe some more uncomfortable questions, and it's okay to ask these. You're trying to help them with a power plant on their roof. So it would be nice to also get into the dollars and cents a little bit. But ask them why they might be seeking financing, how they plan on paying for the project. If you're financing, is the plan here to stay in the house for 10 years? Or do you maybe plan on paying this loan off sooner? You're really just trying to beat your current utility bill. Just be curious. Ask more questions and try and get a feel for what their true needs are on the finance side. Because you know what? I'll guarantee it. Whatever they're looking for, there's probably a solution out there for it. And I'm happy to have a conversation with you on how we can maybe even deepen this conversation, ask those next level questions, and really make sure you're just getting a better understanding of your customer. Because ultimately, when you do, that's going to earn your trust or their trust in you and hopefully their business. So yeah, please reach out to me. Again, Josh has mentioned the links that he's going to share down below in the description. But let's connect. I would love to make sure that we're asking those questions and trying our best to win the business from your customers.
Yeah, because what drives every person is different. Some people, it could be economic. Some people, it could be just the environment. For some people, it could be both. And figuring out what drives the why of your customer will help you drive your sales further upward and do so in a complimentary way to your customer. Not, a sleazy salesperson. We get those people with the clipboards. Well, you like to buy solar? This will take care of your whole house. Sign right here. I mean, no questions at all. Are you sure? You don't, do you go to a doctor and they pull out the magic wand with no questions? It doesn't work that way, right, Josh?
Right. No, that's so true. Don't be an order taker. Make sure you understand your customers more. And you know what that's going to also do? Beyond just winning that, business right there, they're going to talk to their friends and family about it. The referral business is real. In times like this where maybe leads are getting more expensive, things seem to be a little bit slower than normal, well, people talk. When you walk up to someone's house, you see solar on it. Even if you're not in solar, you're probably going to ask a question about it. And they're going to talk about that experience they had with their salesperson and that installation crew. Be the person who's curious, who deeply cares about your customer, and you'll win more business than just theirs. I promise.
We're offering solutions at Soligent. We want you to partner with us. Click on the link below in the description. Become a dealer. Become a partner. Join us in our mission here at Soligent, creating a world that is beyond emissions. Josh Tinaglia, Solar Engine Program Manager here at Soligent. Again, there's a quick way to reach out to Josh. Just go to soligent.net and click on financing. You can fill out a form there and you'll be put in touch with them. Real quick before we go though, I have a question that I hear from a lot of homeowners and, our installers and dealers that are listening to the Beyond Emissions by Soligent podcast here at the Soligent YouTube channel. By the way, folks, like this video, subscribe, hit the reminder bell. Okay, so the question they have quite a bit, and I know you could probably help answer it. Can we write off interest I'm not a CPA, and I know you're not either, but I mean, just knowing what you know about the financing business in the solar industry, are we able to write off the interest for our financing, our renewable energy projects?
You took the words right out of my mouth. I am not a CPA, so I'm maybe not the right person to ask. However, I do know typically residentially that is not something you can do. On the commercial side, it is much easier. So if you're a building owner who's paying for a loan, definitely have that conversation with your CPA. You're much more likely to be able to write off any interest you pay on these loans for a solar system for a commercial building. Residentially, not so much. It doesn't hurt to ask your CPA or do a little due diligence for you. And it might honestly vary state to state. I'm unsure. Again, I'm not a tax pro, nor will I pretend to be one, even when I have a speaker in front of me. But it's definitely something that you can look into if you have a commercial building.
Yeah, something you want to have this conversation with your CPA. There may be a possibility to take advantage of depreciation and other aspects of the system. Okay, well, Josh Tinaglia, I call you Josh T. We're on the same team, and we're both Joshes. So Josh T, Josh B, we're in the house. We love you,
That's
listeners.
Right.
Thank you for tuning in and making us number one. Get in touch with Josh Tinaglia, Solar Engine Program Manager here at Soligent. Josh, thanks for being on the show. Real quick, give them your contact information one more time, my friend.
Yeah, of course. So you can call me directly on my cell phone, 707-326-6880, or drop me an email at josh.tinaglia. I'll spell that real quick. T as in Tango, I-N as in November, A-G-L-I-A at soligent.net. Happy to work with you either way. And you can always obviously go to our website as well. Fill out one of our forms on our solarenginesolutions.com website, where you can actually look up the partners that we're currently offering and even fill out a form there for me to talk to you directly about those. So yeah, would love to talk to you and Josh. Josh B, it's been great being on the same team with you. Thank you for hosting this podcast. I think it's such a positive light in this world and a great thing to have here around Soligent. So thank you for being you, and definitely look forward to continuing to work with you, my man.
Awesome. God bless you. Josh Tinaglia, Solar Engine Program Manager here at Soligent, creating a world that is beyond emissions. Josh, hang on the line for engineers, brother.
Sounds good.
Soligent.net. The link down below to go and click on that and become a dealer. Join our installer network, largest in the United States. And Soligent is also the largest pure play solar distributor in the Americas. We want to help your customers to be successful in achieving their solar plus energy storage and renewable energy dreams. It's not just financial. You're also empowering them to have freedom and energy independence. And in addition, mitigating climate change, helping save the world, participating in the direct pay right here at Soligent's financial program through Solar Engine, through Josh Tinaglia there. He explained it. We'll go into that a little bit further in our break. If you want to partner with us, that's the way to do it, to help people get clean drinking water around the world through our direct pay program, through our GivePower program here at Soligent, changing lives, changing the world, and creating a world that is beyond emissions. Be right back after this. Our next guest is David Parker from Sol-Ark. Sol-Ark inverters, amazing inverters to help you accomplish that mission as well. And joining us in creating a world that is beyond emissions. Be right back.
We at Soligent are incredibly excited to announce our partnership with GivePower. Well, we wouldn't be here today talking to you about GivePower if it wasn't for our partners, LoanPal. They've been with GivePower since the beginning. Their contribution has given water and light to countless people across the globe. We are truly inspired by LoanPal's dedication to the cause. Something LoanPal said really strikes a chord regarding GivePower, that this is something that's more than money. It's what makes making money more worthwhile. In a lot of ways, that's synonymous with what we're doing here at Soligent.
Here's how you can help.
What we've decided to do is compound LoanPal's contribution by donating to GivePower on every order paid via our direct pay program through LoanPal. That's right. Every time your company uses your LoanPal portal to pay pay Soligent for material, 5 people get clean drinking water for a full year.
Together we're stronger.
Together, we can choose to be extraordinary by giving to people who live outside our reach. To us, this means a lot.
Soligent's purpose meets GivePower's mission. Join the impact. Soligent, Solar Engine. SolarEngineSolutions.com. Go there to find out more. Beyond Emissions Podcast, right here at the Soligent YouTube channel. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that reminder bell in the corner so you can be a part of the ongoing conversation of living in a world that is beyond emissions, creating a world that is beyond emissions. It's a marathon, not a race. We're not going to get there tomorrow, but we can get there a lot faster if we work together. And that's why I've got experts from around the world to come on our program. Obviously, the big question, the why. What does a world that is beyond emissions look like to you? But the second question, how are we going to get there? Empowering you and your customers with great solutions and having energy independence at your fingertips. It's possible. That's something that we can do today. And Josh Tinaglia, so glad to have him on the program today. Solar Engine Program Manager for financing options available right here at Soligent. Again, go to soligent.net today to find out more. Our next guest on the Beyond Emissions podcast is my friend David Parker from Sol-Ark, sol-ark.com. Go there today and find out more. You can get Sol-Ark inverter solutions right here, energy storage solutions, management, etc. Right here at Soligent. We have it available, and we'll make a great program customized for you and your customers. And that's one of the things I love about Sol-Ark. Their mission is aligned with our mission, changing the world and creating a world that is beyond emissions. Okay, David Parker from Sol-Ark, welcome to the Beyond Emissions podcast, my friend.
Yeah, thank you very much, Josh. It's an honor. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we've been in conversations a lot recently. And I have a past with Sol-Ark. Bhavna O'Brien, you're one of your owners. Just amazing. We've had conversations in the past, and we know that although we're all about economic freedom, making money, and having great business go on for all of our installer customers and savings with the homeowner and, us making sales, everyone wins in this renewable energy business, and we love the business without a doubt, or we wouldn't be in it. But there's so much behind that, or the foundation, if you will, of our business. We want to change the world. We're trying to make a difference in people's lives. And I know Sol-Ark is aligned in that same mission with Soligent as well. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Josh. In past conversations with you, I know we've talked about, the customization, right? The culture of customization, and that, a lot of times people have a tendency to want to take a round peg and go hunt all the holes, and whether it's a round hole or a square hole, they're going to go for it. And same thing with a square peg and vice versa. So we kind of believe in that customization as well. We allow and enable customization through our product line on many different levels or layers, if you will. So from a product standpoint, we have a little 5 kilowatt single phase inverter that's very much, economical partial backup. If you want to get into some critical loads backup, kind of partial backup again, in a 120-240 split phase, there's an 8 kilowatt inverter and a 12 kilowatt inverter. When you want to go onto the bigger end and you want to go after whole home backup, we have a 15 kilowatt inverter. The 15 kilowatt inverter can stack. The little 5K 1P can stack as well. So on a product level, we enable customization. On a scalability level, we enable customization. So let's just take the 15K. Many homes in America have a 200 amp panel. I think that's the most predominant panel size in America.
Yes.
And you can take a 15 kilowatt, which has a 200 amp pass-through capability, and put it right there next to your 200 amp panel. And we very much did that on purpose. But if you have a 400 amp panel, or you're very fortunate and you may have a 600 amp panel or maybe a couple of 600 amp panels, you can scale the solution and further customize it. when you get to the feature set of the inverter, if you have a time of use rate structure, you're somewhere in America with an AHJ and a utility company that has time of use, we can program your system, your inverter and your battery system to save you money on a daily basis. If you're a commercial customer and you have demand charges with KW demand, and they're going to monitor your energy all year, and wherever that specific peak is, that's what they're going to use to set the rate. Well, we can help you bring that peak down. Again, there's ways to deploy the system to save money. These days, there's a new trend coming on called VPP, which stands for Virtual Power Plant. And this involves the utility's desire to interact with a homeowner's energy storage system. It's a voluntary program, but let's say I lived in San Antonio, Texas, and CPS Energy came to me and said, hey, Mr. Parker, you've got 30 kilowatt hours of batteries. Would you like to be in our VPP program? And I said, sure, I would. Let's go. So one hot day in Texas, if the grid was in trouble, ERCOT, and CPS Energy looked at my battery, and they can do that through the Sol-Ark inverter, and the battery was 100% state of charge, and they needed the electrons, they would take that battery down to wherever I had programmed the floor to be, 20% or 30%. They would take those electrons. I would get a credit on my bill. I'm helping the grid. I'm helping the utility company. I'm monetizing my system. I'm furthering my ROI. Again, these are the feature sets that we have built into the inverter just to enable that customization. We don't know if you're in a VPP market or not. We don't know if your utility has a VPP or not. But if they do, we're ready. All these programs work on 2 communication standards, and we have those built in.
And Sol-Ark is battery agnostic. It's beautiful. The ability to customize a solution for every individual customer, because installers and dealers, by the way, if you want to be a Soligent partner with us and join us as a dealer here at Soligent and have access to these awesome Sol-Ark solutions, they're available from Soligent. Just click on that link in the description below and become a dealer and join us here at Soligent. This is Beyond Emissions Podcast at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like this video, subscribe, hit the reminder bell in the corner. We're talking a lot about the how. How are we going to create a world that is beyond emissions? And it's through new technologies and solutions like the technology that we're describing from Sol-Ark, available now at Soligent. David Parker from Sol-Ark on the line with us here at Beyond Emissions Podcast. So glad that you're here. So unique. Every single customer is different. And you're talking about the unique capability of customization through the Sol-Ark system, the Sol-Ark inverter system available from us here at Soligent. I mean, the customization is so awesome. I've got customers out there that don't even have solar, and they're just utilizing, like up in Alaska, Sol-Ark inverters with batteries and generator, and maybe even a little bit of solar. You can start off just going grid tie only with just solar with no batteries. Not many inverter systems allow for that are battery based. You're battery agnostic. As long as it's 48 volt DC, the customer can choose the right battery system that's right for them. Talk all about that flexibility. Pump it up, David. I love having you on the Beyond Emissions podcast, because flexibility and customization is really how we're going to get there and helping as many people as possible in creating this world that is beyond emissions, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank you, Josh, for saying the word agnostic, because that's an important characteristic and feature that Sol-Ark built into our solutions, is that we are not a proprietary solution at all. We are an all-in-one inverter design, and we put as much features and functionality into the inverter as we could, and then we made it best-in-class technology in terms of power, speed, and efficiency. And then we made it agnostic in terms of what you can use it with. So to your point, any 48-volt battery will work. We don't care about the brand, the type, or the chemistry. Any generator will work as long as it's the proper voltage. We can get a 2-wire start kit on it. It's good to go. Could be a little generator you get off of Harbor Freight. Could be one of the medium-sized generators, a Honda, Yamaha, one of these good brands. Maybe it's a really big generator. It's a Century Pro or a Kohler, or maybe it's a Generac. Doesn't matter. As long as you can get a 2-wire start kit on it, we can integrate that generator into your system. Does everybody have a generator in their system? No. To some people, yes. Do the people that have generators take that seriously? Absolutely. We can also do the same thing on the solar panel front. So whatever you have on your roof, or perhaps you have a ground mount, we don't care whether you're using Hanwha Q cells or Trina or Jinko or Mission solar panels from San Antonio, Texas, or Canadian Solar or REC or Panasonic. We don't care. There's basic considerations in terms of hitting the MPPT strings, but we leave the customization in the hands of the homeowner and the installer.
Ooh, I love that, David. Talk about that on the 15K Sol-Ark. By the way, folks, David Parker from Sol-Ark Inverters and Systems, available at Soligent. Click on the link in the description below and become a dealer and join us at Soligent today, Beyond Emissions Podcast, here at the Soligent YouTube channel. Ooh, talk about that. When it comes to the PV array, generally speaking, our installers and dealers listening to the Beyond Emissions podcast, they're used to having, to go get charge controllers and wire things a little bit awkwardly versus some of their other, traditional systems. And the Sol-Ark you mentioned, MPPT, charge controllers built in. You can land PV array, and at the 15K Sol-Ark, you can land a lot of PV array on the DC side and AC side. Go into that, man.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. It's exactly correct. We added another MPPT coming off of our 12K model as we went into the 15K model because we knew the solar systems would get a little larger. So there are 3 MPPT controllers built into the 15K, and you can do 2 strings each. So you can land 6 strings of solar, DC coupled straight into the 15K, and that can be up to 19.5 kilowatts. So that's a really good size array on a home, and it can handle more complicated subarrays where perhaps your gets some panels facing east for the morning sun, some panels facing south to get that all-day sun, and some panels facing west to get the sunset. If you have a larger home with a larger roof and you're rocking 19.5 kW, that's exactly why we did that. And Josh, we also have the flexibility of AC coupling. So there's a retrofit capability as well, nice and easy. If somebody already has a system of whatever size and they have microinverters, or perhaps they have a Solar Edge or an SMA or one of these other inverters, but they don't have batteries and they want to be off-grid capable, well, they can bring in a Sol-Ark 15K, and instead of DC coupling into the MPPT controllers, you bring in the AC power and you land on one of our AC breakers and you connect that way. And with the 15K, you can AC couple up to 19.2 kilowatts.
Wow. That's power, man. And speaking of power with the Sol-Ark, Soligent, we're the largest pure play solar distributor in the Americas. David Parker from Sol-Ark Inverters and Systems here on the Beyond Emissions podcast with us today. Like this video and subscribe. Hit the reminder bell, share with your friends. David Parker, you rock. You talk all about power, but you walk the walk as well, man. I had an installer a couple of weeks back, Tom Sprague from Sprague Electric, talk about the 15K Sol-Ark and how not only, like you mentioned, are you able to back up the whole home if it's a 200 amp or less panel, but in addition, the power's there to fire up air conditioner. Now you've got to, properly size your energy storage, et cetera, as well. It's not just a one size fits all, but the power in your inverter, when you look at other battery based inverters, are you able to fire up, your air conditioner with your Tesla Powerwall? Ain't happening, man. Ain't happening. And I'm not picking on them. Their product might be right for certain occasions, but at the end of the day, that's the thing I get from customers. The number one query, which is, I want to be able to fire up my air conditioner because, you're in San Antonio. I'm in Central California. It can get up to 110 or be real hot. I mean, at night, and we want to know, can we fire up an air conditioner, a 4-ton air conditioner with a Sol-Ark inverter with the right paired, right-sized energy storage solution? And holy smokes, like Tom Sprague said, we can do it. Power, power, power. Talk about the power of the 15K Sol-Ark solution, David.
Yeah, thank you very much, Josh. Appreciate that. We did make the solution scalable on purpose, and as you pointed out earlier, we really do pride ourselves on best-in-class technology. So when it comes to surge power and the ability to start things, we take that very seriously. In electrical terms, there's an inductive load, which is a kind of a surge that's required to start motors and start things. The 15K has the ability for 24,000 watts for 10 seconds, and it has the ability for 30,000 watts for 100 milliseconds. Now, 100 milliseconds is pretty quick, but that's what it takes to kind of start these things. That's with one of our 15Ks. And the beautiful thing about the solution with the 15K is its scalability. So you also get 15,000 watts of continuous AC with PV or AC power. You get 12,000 watts from the batteries. So if you need more power with a 15K, you need 30,000 watts of continuous AC or 45,000 or 60,000 watts. You just scale upwards. If you need that 24,000 watts to become 48,000 watts for 10 seconds, you use 2 units. And so the ability to start air conditioners is absolutely there. You're also 100% correct in that, it's a little bit complicated. You have to do the math on the appliances you're starting and exactly what their locked rotor amps are and these kind of electrical things to make sure that it's sized properly. But given that math is done properly, we bring the ability and we bring the power and we bring the capability to the market. The 15K is a fantastic solution. People are really getting their hands on it and using it in a variety of ways, and they're starting to stack more and more of them. We're seeing more and more multiple unit installs occurring, and it's really exciting because we are bringing the power.
And in 2023, right here at Soligent, partners with Sol-Ark inverters. You can get your Sol-Ark solutions. Go to soligent.net today and find out more. Click on the link down in the description. Become a Soligent Sol-Ark dealer installer today. Click on that link. We look forward to partnering with you, utilizing the Sol-Ark solutions to help change the world and creating this world that is beyond emissions and empowering your customers. That's awesome. Okay, 2023, we've got just a few minutes left. David Parker from Sol-Ark on the Beyond Emissions podcast at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like this video, subscribe, hit the reminder bell. David Parker from Sol-Ark, thank you so much for being on the show. Just a couple minutes left. Give a sneak peek to our listeners. 2023, we've got a lot of great innovations coming and available. 30K and 60K Sol-Ark commercial industrial solutions. We've got some load center, load management, microinverters, EV charging. Talk a little bit about that real quick before we let you go, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. You teed that one up very nicely. So the first thing that's going to happen this year is very exciting. Unfortunately, we're going to leave our home in Plano, Texas, where we are in a 95,000 square foot building, and we're moving up the road towards the end of Q1 to Allen, Texas, which is about 15 minutes away from where we currently are. And all of this is in North Dallas, and we're moving into Allen, Texas, and we're moving into over 300,000 square feet. So we're moving, and we're tripling the size of our facilities, and we're super excited about that. We will be all set up after we get moved in to host people at our new facilities, and we're stoked about that. And now to swing directly into the well-teed up topic you brought up, which is our roadmap. We are coming out with 2 native 3-phase inverters that are very specific for the commercial and industrial markets. We have a 30-kilowatt inverter that's for the 208-volt market, and we have a 60-kilowatt inverter that's for the 480-volt market. Both of these are scalable. So we will really be able to bring in the functionality and, again, speed, efficiency, power, et cetera, but really the functionality to back up pharmacies' coolers where they keep their medicine so that if the grid drops, they don't lose their high-value inventory. We'll be able to do the same thing with grocery stores where we can back up their coolers and keep the meat frozen and the fish frozen and all the cool stuff cool. So they don't have to lose their high-value inventory in the form of food. We also have micro inverters coming. We have traditionally played in the energy storage space. kind of only in the energy storage space. Most of our hybrid inverters have battery capabilities, so that's the predominant use case. But with a new line of Sol-Ark microinverters, we look forward to being able to play on the non-energy storage side of the space, where perhaps somebody wants an 8 kilowatt solar system. They've got a net metering agreement. They want to sell extra power to the grid. They don't need off-grid capability. They don't need batteries. They just want some microinverters. Let's go. We look forward to that new and exciting market that's not related to the batteries. And so we're coming out with microinverters for that space. We are also coming out with a little product that does three things. It's an optimizer and a rapid shutdown and panel level monitoring. So this is going to couple with the Sol-Ark inverters to enable a rapid shutdown, compliant solution. And it's going to be a 3-function device: rapid shutdown, panel level monitoring, and optimization. In case there's any shading issues, that's kind of cool. And then lastly, two more things. We're coming out with a smart load panel later in 2023 that has 14 100 amp circuits and dynamic load control, very programmable, really slick, all kinds of control. And then we're also coming out with a bidirectional EV charger that will enable the concepts of vehicle to home, vehicle to grid. It'll be bidirectional. It'll be super efficient and super fast.
Wow. So if I have a Ford Lightning or a Tesla or what have you, electrical vehicle, so many coming out on the market right now, that bidirectional EV charging solution will also allow me to share energy for my home in case there's a partial outage as well. How cool. Wow.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the bidirectionality has to do with, your ability as a homeowner to route the electrons where you want them. A lot of what we do at Sol-Ark is we're electron traffic cops. We send the electron. Where do you want the electrons and how do you want to use them? And then you control the timing, the flow, the direction. It's really awesome. It's a brave new world.
Man, and you're a part of it if you're joining us at Soligent and Sol-Ark. Thank you, David Parker. If our listeners would like to reach out to you for more, obviously reach out to us here at Soligent. Listeners, click the link down below. Become a Soligent Sol-Ark delivery specialist, delivering these electrons in customized ways, customized solutions from Soligent and Sol-Ark. Click on that link in the description below and become a dealer with us at Soligent today. Real quick, if they'd like to contact you and ask you more questions, David Parker from Sol-Ark, thanks for being on the show today. Please let our listeners know how they can contact you.
Yeah, thank you very much. If there's any technical questions, I would encourage our listeners to just email us at support@solark.com, just the word support. We have a fantastic team of about 30 engineers on the other side of that email. So if it's, how do I do this? How do I parallel them? How do I connect to a generator? All kinds of technical questions. That's the best thing, is to email us at support@solark.com. You can also reach that team by phone, which is 972-575-8875, and then select option 2. We call that team the Solar Engineering Team, which sometimes confuses people. They're like, I was looking for tech support. I don't know who the solar engineers are. But that's the same team for us. If you'd like to get a hold of me, you can call that same number, 972-575-8875, and select option 1. That'll get you to the sales team. And if you want to talk to me individually, my extension is 130.
Excellent. David Parker, thanks for being a partner with us here at Soligent. Sol-Ark, we love you. As I like to say, Sol-Ark, the best inverters in the universe. Awesome. David Parker, hang on the line for engineers, and thanks for being on the show, my friend.
Thank you, Josh. We appreciate the opportunity, and thanks to everyone who was listening with us today. Thank you very much.
It's the Beyond Emissions podcast. Sol-Ark, David Parker, a solution for every problem. We love it. And that's what Sol-Ark's all about. That's what we're all about. And that's what it's going to take, empowering you and your customers and helping us to create a world that is beyond emissions. Speaking of, we've got a great energy storage partner on the line. Coming up next, Alex Lepore from Fortress Power. Oh, this guy is amazing, and so are Fortress Power solutions available right here at Soligent. Thanks for tuning in to the Beyond Emissions podcast right here at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like this video, subscribe, and share. Hit that reminder bell in the corner so you can be a part of Soligent's ongoing conversation and mission in creating a world that is beyond emissions. Be right back.
We at Soligent are incredibly excited to announce our partnership with GivePower. Well, we wouldn't be here today talking to you about GivePower if it wasn't for our partners, LoanPal. They've been with GivePower since the beginning. Their contribution has given water and light to countless people across the globe. We are truly inspired by LoanPal's dedication to the cause. Something LoanPal said really strikes a chord regarding GivePower, that this is something that's more than money. It's what makes making money more worthwhile. In a lot of ways, that's synonymous with what we're doing here at Soligent.
Here's how you can help.
What we've decided to do is compound LoanPal's contribution by donating to GivePower on every order paid via our direct pay program through LoanPal. That's right. Every time your company uses your LoanPal portal to pay Soligent for material, 5 people get clean drinking water for a full year.
Together we're stronger.
Together, we can choose to be extraordinary by giving to people who live outside our reach. To us, this means a lot.
Soligent's purpose meets GivePower's mission. Join the impact. Soligent, Solar Engine. SolarEngineSolutions.com. Go there to find out more. Thanks for joining us in our mission here at Soligent, creating a world that is beyond emissions. Imagining, what does a world that is beyond emissions look like to you? By the way, if you'd like to join us, be a dealer today. Offer these great solutions from Soligent today. Join us in the direct pay GivePower program that allows you to help us empower children and families around the world getting clean drinking water. That's right. We have that as an option for you to partner with us in helping and making a real difference in people's lives around the world. Also as well, changing our world and our future for the better. Our kids, our grandkids. Living in a world that is beyond emissions is not something that we're experiencing right here at the moment. We're kind of at the birth of this movement. But what is that world going to look like? My next guest on the program, Beyond Emissions Podcast, right here at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like this video, subscribe, hit the reminder bell so you can be a part of our ongoing conversation about creating a world that is beyond emissions. Here at the Beyond Emissions Podcast, our next guest, thank you so much, Alex Lepore from Fortress Power. Welcome to the program, my friend.
Josh, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
As I start the broadcast and virtually almost every conversation that we have. By the way, Fortress Power is amazing. Go to fortresspower.com and find out more. You can get Fortress Power energy storage solutions from us here at Soligent. And again, click on that description down, the link in the description down below, and you can sign up and become a dealer, a partner, a Fortress Power distributor as well. Dealer with us here, offering people Fortress Power solutions when you're empowering them to help us create this world that is beyond emissions. Alex Lepore on the Beyond Emissions podcast here at the Soligent YouTube channel. Alex, you work for Fortress Power, but I like to ask this question of all my guests. It's the entire concept of the program. We don't currently live in a world that is beyond emissions, but the goal is someday we might actually get there by doing what we're doing every single day. So the first question is, what does a world that is beyond emissions look like? And then our discussion today, I'm sure, is going to be about how we're going to get there. What does it look like to you, a world that is beyond emissions, Alex?
I think that's a fantastic question, Josh. And I think a world that's beyond emissions has more balance, I think, frankly. And I always get the question when I attend certain trade shows, or I get questions from folks that call in the Fortress, and they say, well, do you ever think that, we'll ever get to this point where everything is going to be electrified? We're going to have a 100% electrification in our society. And that's a very aggressive goal, right? And I think that beyond emissions, the idea about it, that we have better balance to use all of the resources available to us as a society, to use renewables, but also, don't forget about nuclear or even coal in some respects, but I think it really comes down to, this better balance on behalf of not only people, but also, enforcing that corporate social responsibility. So we have just better balance of how we use our power, and whether that be, whether you're a homeowner or whether you're a business owner or whether you're a utility company, making those choices that support, not only goals for our earth, but also for people.
Yeah, balance. Yeah, I think of, I'm a Cobra Kai fan, so I think of Mr. Mr. Miyagi. Balance, Daniel-san. But but for real, balance is everything. And energy, for example, my friend Brooke Hanner from Offline Solar Electric, he'll be on next week's program. He's one of my mentors, taught me what a kilowatt hour is. Love the guy. He's coming on. He tells me all the time, just think about it like this when it comes to, electricity. It's always seeking out equilibrium. And he says, right, equilibrium, that's really, when you look at it, that's what our whole universe is always seeking to do, is create equilibrium. And we have to be honest, by pulling all of this carbon out of the ground and shooting it up into the atmosphere, we have created an imbalance. I'm not demonizing, fossil fuels. We wouldn't have the technology to be talking right now on this podcast, Beyond Emissions, at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Alex Lepore from Fortress Power with us. If we did not have those fossil fuels, we wouldn't be where we're at now. But like Maya Angelou said, Alex, when you know better, you do better. And we have technology in our hands right now that can make a difference in this mission, right, of creating a world that is beyond emissions. Talk about that.
And I think you hit a really good point there. And I think a lot of it would come down to almost awareness or education, right? And when I had joined Fortress, many moons ago, 5 years ago, had watched this very great company grow, and have been a part of that growth. I think a lot of what I've been able to take part in and be honestly very grateful for is the education of, how do renewables work? How do batteries work? And, coming from a battery manufacturer and solutions provider, talking with, whether it be, installer partners of ours or homeowners or my neighbors or my grandparents, and bringing that awareness to them and education on, well, this is what a battery is. This is how you can use batteries. Here's the data backing up on how batteries are going to grow and support these, very important goals for becoming climate neutral, if you will, whether it be by state or even just, per country or even for the world, right? So I think a lot of what folks should try and get out there and do is learn as much as you can, and this is not this black and white world anymore where it's, this means this. There's all sorts of different solutions out there. There's all sorts of ways to do things. And the more you know about it, the more, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, you can make a better decision for yourself or for the people that you're with. You know what I mean?
And absolutely. And customization is key in empowering our customers. Right. And Fortress Power partnering with Soligent. You can go to soligent.net today, find out more. Fortress Power, you can become a dealer in Fortress Power Solutions by joining us at Soligent. Click on the link below in the description and join us as a dealer today so that you can offer customized Fortress Power Solutions to your customers today as well. In that vein of customization, which is so important because everybody's energy needs are different. And you fully understand that at Fortress Power. Talk a little bit about the importance of customization in our mission, Alex.
Well, customization. Let me answer your question with a question. How would you determine what is customized, right? Because every single person lives very differently. I think this idea of customization is almost, in a weird way, it's almost standardization. And hear me out for a minute. So this idea of customization, you pick and choose what is installed on your home for solar and batteries, for example, because it makes sense. Well, on the other side of that, you have these solutions that are, let's say, prepackaged and they're tested and they're reliable, and therefore they're going to be installed for your home. So I think more of anything, your home is customized because of how people live, and the technology is getting standardized, right? And then people have the ability to customize their home with very good technology and all sorts of technologies, whether it be a lithium battery, whether it be a lead acid battery, whether it be some kind of crazy salt water battery that they have. So the idea of this customization, I think, would actually come more from people, just like you and I, right? Learning how can they customize their home for how they live, and then fitting that technology to their lifestyle, right? And that could be through things like PV and batteries, using geothermal, for example. The sky could almost be the limit. What do you think?
I agree with you. And when I'm thinking about customization, and great question, Alex. Alex Lepore with us from Fortress Power. If you'd like to be a Fortress Power dealer, you can join us. And
come on down.
You can be an installer and install and offer Fortress Power solutions by clicking the link down below in the description right here. Join us at Soligent with Fortress Power, changing the world, creating a world that is beyond emissions. In my mind's eye, customization, Alex, really has to do with something you pointed out at a meeting the other day. You can have someone in the same size house living across the street from someone else using double the power or triple the power. Completely different energy consumption footprint. And so I have a 3,000 square foot home like Joe Pizer, made a joke about, but it's true. What color is the house? Both don't tell you anything. You've really got to know, what do you want to run and how long do you want to run it for? And just making assumptions that, I have this kind of a house, what do I need? The problem there, I think, is there's a lot of other energy storage companies out there. I won't name them, but they come out on the market and advertisements and they say, buy this and it'll take care of your whole house. And it won't. It's not magic. You have to ask the right questions. If you're an installer or a solar company right now listening to the Beyond Emissions podcast, first of all, again, join us at Soligent, and we'd like to partner with you in helping you with this customization. But the key is you have to ask your customers the right questions to find out, just like a doctor, right, Alex? You have to go through the test before your doctor can diagnose you and give you the prescription. You don't just walk in and say, I think you need this pill. It doesn't work that way with medicine, and it doesn't work that way with renewable energy, right?
That's right. And I think the key thing that I mean, for anybody, is you want to help manage the expectations of how this technology is going to work. And as you point out, there's all sorts of other battery companies out there, and whether or not they make claims about what their technology can or can't do, and that's probably for another call. It affects the whole industry in renewables, right? Because if you have a few customers that get burned because of one company who did one thing that maybe wasn't very irresponsible, that word of mouth spreads, and that'll ultimately affect all the companies in our industry. So, my challenge would be for manufacturers is to properly educate folks that, are looking for energy storage, or the general public or installers, so we avoid negative feedback loops. So that way people outside of our industry don't look in and think, well, batteries just catch on fire because they saw a Tesla explode one time, or, PV doesn't give you a return on your investment for whatever reason, right? And we can help educate these people to get a very clear idea of, this is what it does, this is how it works. If you want to customize your home to this, you can expand these sorts of systems for your home based on your lifestyle. And then that's how you get those very positive feedback loops. They say, wow, so-and-so kept it real with me, essentially. They let me know how this thing was going to work. They didn't oversell it. And I am, myself, let's say at Fortress, I'm preventing buyer's remorse, right? And that's, if you've bought anything as a consumer and you go back and you say, maybe I shouldn't have bought that, that's the feeling we want to avoid with folks out there, right? Because these are not cheap. This is not like buying a Kit Kat bar and you don't like the Kit Kat. The end customer of ours is buying a $10,000 battery. We don't want them to not like what they're purchasing as their investment.
And I love Fortress Power. Again, you can get Fortress Power solutions from Soligent. Go and click on the link below in the description and join us at Soligent today as a dealer, as an installer partner with Soligent, offering Fortress Power solutions. Speaking of customization, we offer together. I'm so glad we're working together. Alex Lepore from Fortress Power with us here on the Beyond Emissions podcast at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like this video, subscribe, hit the reminder bell. Alex, Talk to our listeners a little bit about some of those amazing options available. 18.5 kilowatt hours for your
Right.
e-vault, and basically you want to offer a certain amount of that as usable power so you can maximize the life expectancy. But not only in those increments to be able to, get to where a customer needs in total energy storage available and usable storage, but you can also really even get more customized for some customers who may need to be at a specific kilowatt hours for their energy storage needs in 5.4 kilowatt hour increments with another option. Like really, wow, you can really get down to the laser guided missile instead of carpet bombing approach of really finding a solution and helping us here at Soligent with our installers find a solution for these homeowners, right? With these options. Talk about those options, man.
Yeah, definitely. And the two main options we have now, Josh, they are the eVault Max, which is the 18.5 kilowatt hour option, and the eFlex 5.4. They're both 48 volt systems, so they run at 48 volts, and they're both LFP. Now, what really matters to batteries is something you had been alluding to, which is depth of discharge, which is how much power you're going to get out of that battery. So, for example, with the eVault Max, it's 18.5 at an 80% depth of discharge, or you're only using 80% of that, comes out to around 14.9, 14.6 kilowatt hours of usable capacity. What you'll see is that manufacturers say, hey, we have an 80% depth of discharge to get X amount of cycles. At Fortress, it's 80% depth of discharge to get 8,000 cycles. But something even less talked about, but almost more important, comes down to two other factors. And the first of that is going to be what kind of BMS is that particular battery using. For those unfamiliar with what the heck a BMS even is, it's a acronym for a battery management system. Think about it as the brain of the battery. This BMS does many different things. It protects your battery cells. It communicates with other equipment that's installed, like your inverter. It also talks between many batteries in parallel. If you had 15 of our eVault Maxes in parallel for a large residential home that needs backup or they're living off the grid, that BMS is what's going to be doing that communication. So all the depth of the discharge is a great point, and that gives you some indication of how long that battery is going to last. But in terms of protection of that battery, the BMS is super important. The second thing that's also really important that is sometimes overlooked is the C rate. And the C rate for my non-battery gurus out there is going to be how fast you discharge this battery, right? And most batteries will recommend that you do a 2-hour rate of discharge, discharging the battery over 2 hours. Let me re-say that. With new technology coming onto market, I always caution people about discharging their battery or charging their battery too fast because it does cause a lot of heat. And the problem with heat with batteries is that it does lead to reduced life cycles. So I think when you're as a consumer or an installer or somewhere in between, asking these challenging questions of, well, what kind of chemistry are you using? What is the depth of discharge warranty coverage, for example? What kind of BMS is it? Even testing the manufacturer, why do you use that BMS? Oh, how fast can you discharge this battery? And then see what kind of answers you get. Again, it's all about not over-promising and under-delivering, and these questions will help you pick the right battery for the customer. And as much as I'd like to say Fortress Power can do everything, we can definitely get close. There is not one battery that can do everything. So it's good to do your research beforehand, and that's why we have two different size batteries. We have a larger battery for folks that want more backup or hours of duration, or they want to move off the grid. And then we have a smaller, more modular battery at 5.5 kilowatt hours. So if you, as an installer or consumer, want to start small and grow larger, that's certainly an option. If you wanted to just start with the whole big battery bank, then you go with the eVault Max. And that's how I would foresee, if I was an installer, a person choosing your battery. What do you want this thing to do, like we spoke about earlier, Josh? But at that same token, what are your plans in the future, right? Your needs may change in 6 months. They may change in a year. Understanding that whether you are a business and you're selling these things and you're learning about your clients, or you're that end user listening in, that's going to help you make better decisions. It's going to help you pick a technology that's right for you.
Outstanding partners, Fortress Power and Soligent. You're listening to the Beyond Emissions podcast at the Soligent YouTube channel, and our friend and partner here, Alex Lepore from Fortress Power. Thank you so much. Hey, real quick, for our listeners who are in the commercial and industrial space, they can reach out to us here at Soligent as well via the link below in the description, folks, at the Soligent YouTube channel. Right in our Beyond Emissions podcast episode 2 description. You can go click right there on that link, become a dealer, get connected with us. And if you're a commercial industrial installer, Fortress Power through Soligent has some amazing commercial industrial solutions in your team. Kyle, Michael, I mean, you got an amazing team that will help us to help our customers that are listening right now basically create turnkey systems for their commercial and industrial customers, right?
That's right. And I will leave it back to the folks listening in to check out our website. And I don't want to drone on here and talk about how great our battery is. And I mean, I certainly could, but I think what's really important is why did we do this, right? Why, as a manufacturer, did we release a commercial battery? And what need is it serving? What is it doing for folks out there? And I think the main thing comes down to I don't know if it's a practice or it's a billing structure technically passed by utilities called demand charges. And so for those of you that are unfamiliar with the demand charges, essentially they're going to bill you much higher if you hit a certain threshold of usage on your business. So if you're Amazon, for example, and you have this warehouse and in a month you use more than 1,000 kW or 100 kW, that utility provider is going to charge you, let's say, instead of 10 cents a kW, 20, 30, or even 40 cents a kW. And that's not just for the next month. That'll be for the remainder of the year. So a lot of what we do at Fortress is we're tailoring our technology for the need that we're seeing on commercial buildings, because these poor business owners on commercial buildings are paying, especially if they're on a demand rate, instead of paying an annual electricity bill of $5,000 or $10,000, I've seen bills upwards of $50,000 for a commercial building, just because they're getting hammered by these demand charges. So I think that's what you'll see as the technology progresses. You're going to find batteries getting larger. The price may come down as it gets more standardized, but really the value add is when we can go back to these commercial facilities with commercial options of any brand and say, hey, I can save you money, and while doing that, this is actually good for the planet, right? We're not just installing this massive diesel generator and just giving it a go.
I was out in Central California a couple years ago talking to a food processor, giant operation, and the guy brought me up to his office and showed me these demand charges. He had a pre-existing solar system, and he's like, there's got to be an energy storage solution. At the time, this was maybe 10 years ago, maybe 9, 10 years ago. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, I did not have something that could scale to what he needed at the time, but I sure had some empathy for the pain he and his business and, what they were going through. This is a 24/7 operation, most of these folks, right, Alex?
Yeah, and I mean, it depends on the customer and the facility. And for those of you that are dialing in from California now, we all know that the NEM 3.0 decision is going to be released tomorrow. And that's going to be just a lot of fun on the residential side. But I think the thing is that on the commercial side, these demand charges are already here. And I don't believe they're going anywhere. I think they're good. They're here to stay. They're making their home. And if anything, they're going to get more aggressive for folks that have not already invested in some sort of system to keep their usage below whatever threshold that utility sets. And I do get it. These utilities want to try and, control how much power these commercial facilities are using, so they can have power available. But at the end of the day, it's hitting home because it's hitting business owners' pockets, which means they have to cut salaries for employees because they're paying through the nose for the electricity charges. So it's a much deeper story than just, hey, you can save a few bucks. We're talking about some very real world issues, and that's what the hope, I think, of this technology is on Fortress's behalf. That's why we released the East Fire, because it is that matter of fact of we can actually help people with this thing, believe it or not.
We love helping you. We love making solutions available to you at Soligent.net is where you can go become a dealer today. And partners like Fortress Power, Alex Lepore, thank you so much for sharing your vision that is aligned with our vision of creating a world that is beyond emissions here at the Beyond Emissions podcast at the Soligent YouTube channel. Thanks so much to you, your entire team at Fortress Power. If our listeners would like to get in touch with you regarding some technical questions or just a general discussion about energy storage solutions from Fortress Power through Soligent, how can they reach you, Alex?
That is a great question. I would encourage anybody to reach out to me directly. And my email is just my name. It's Alex L, as in Lepore, Alex L at fortresspower.com.
Excellent. Alex, hang on the line for our engineers, and thanks so much for being an amazing partner with us here at Soligent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Alex Lepore from Fortress Power. You can get Fortress Power solutions and our mission together, helping empower your customers to create a world that is beyond emissions. You can get those solutions, Fortress Power solutions, available right here at Soligent. If you'd like to be a dealer and be able to offer these great solutions, including our previous guest today, David Parker from Sol-Ark, and Josh Tinaglia as well, program manager for Solar Engine, financing options available right here at Soligent, including GivePower, the ability to help provide clean drinking water for those who are less fortunate around the world. We really are changing the world. We're helping people, and we're changing the world, a future that is beyond emissions. Let's keep marching towards that future together. And join us on our next broadcast. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, hit the reminder bell in the corner. And we look forward to continuing this conversation every week right here at the Soligent YouTube channel. Our podcast, Creating a World that is Beyond Emissions. God bless. Have a great day.